Is there an optimal temperature for sleep that I should mention? I think your latest episode, you and people should go check out helixsleep.com/Huberman to support Andrew.
Thanks for the plug.
I mean, the amazing thing about the stuff that you're creating. And yes, you have a new podcast. That's amazing. And this past month, you did a whole series on sleep, which people should definitely check out. There's some podcasts that come out that just make me want to be a better human being by just the quality. 3 Blue 1 Brown, Grant Sanderson is like that for me. Just like, wow, this is education is best. So Andrew symbolizes that and captures that brilliantly. So go support the sponsor so he doesn't stop doing the thing. So I think they have a cooling pad too. So the 8 Sleep Mattress sponsors me. They sent me a mattress, and I used to sleep on the floor.
Sleep where you fall.
Sleep where I fall.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. It doesn't really matter. But so like I would have never bought a nice mattress because it's like, why? I'm fine. This is the floor. It's fine. But it was a game changer to be able to control temperature. Like for me, it's cooling. To cool. I don't know what the hell it is.
Well, you want the brain and nervous system and the rest of the body needs to drop by about anywhere from 2 to 3 degrees in order to get into your deepest sleep and transition to sleep. That's really going to help. You don't want to be cold that you're bothered and can't fall asleep, but that's why some people like it really cold in the room and under a warm blanket or with socks on. For some people that can be good, because this temperature oscillation is such that as your temperature is dropping, that correlates generally with the most sleepy phase of your circadian cycle. So cool is better for falling and staying asleep and sleeping deeply.
And then I guess like that's what 8 Sleep showed. They have like an app is it warms back up to wake you up. The idea that I haven't actually used it, I'm like, this is stupid. People say it works, but I just keep it the same temperature throughout the night. But warming it up, I guess, wakes you up, which is fascinating.
Yeah, because the wake up signal it's interesting to think about. It's not just correlated with an increase in body temperature. The increase in body temperature is triggering the release of cortisol from your adrenals, and that's the wake up signal.
Do you think it's absolute temperatures we're talking about, or is it just even relative? Just a decrease?
Well, everyone's going to have slightly different basal temperature. The idea that everybody should be 98.6, I mean, that's a myth. And there are theories that body temperature overall has been dropping in the last 50 years or so. I doubt that's true for somebody who is athletic like you and is, young and healthy. But basically, the coldest period of that 24-hour cycle is when you are going to be sleepiest. There's actually a period within that 24-hour cycle. It's a time point called your temperature minimum, and your temperature minimum tends to be about 2 hours before your typical wake-up time. I'm not talking about the wake-up time in the middle of the night where you go use the bathroom or where you set an alarm to go catch a flight. I mean, if you were to just allow yourself to sleep without a clock for a few days, measure when you typically wake up. 2 hours before then is your temperature minimum. And that temperature minimum turns out to be a very important landmark in your circadian cycle, because it turns out that if you get bright light in your eyes in the hours immediately before your temperature minimum, so 2 to 4 hours, or any time within the 2 or 4 hour window before that temperature minimum, you are going to what's called delay your circadian clock. The next day, that whole oscillation is going to move forward. It'll make you want to go to sleep later and wake up later. Whereas if you get bright light in your eyes in the hours after that temperature minimum, so let's say for me, typical wake up time is 6 a.m. My temperature minimum somewhere around 4 a.m. If I get bright light in my eyes 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., it's going to advance that oscillation so that I'll want to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier the subsequent nights. So you might say, wait, but most nights I go to sleep and wake up at more or less the same time. Why is that? And that's because the same thing is happening on both sides. You are both advancing your clock a little bit and assuming that you're looking at light in the evening, you're also delaying your clock a little bit. So you get kind of captured in between, and then your rhythm more or less oscillates at the same period, as we say, as the spin of the earth. Unless you're like you, where I get text messages from you sometimes at odd hours, and if you're on the East Coast, then I know that you had to have been pulling basically an all-nighter.
Yeah, yeah.